I want you to listen carefully, for what I am about to share with you is of utmost importance, because it is the key that unlocks the door to your wildest dreams, and it is the bridge that spans the chasm between your current reality and the life you have always. For a moment, I ask you to take a deep breath and let go of every thought that ties you to the world outside, because there is something I must tell you that will change your life forever if you are brave enough to accept it. You have been searching and trying and hoping for years, yet the one thing that holds you back is not your lack of ability or your lack of resources, but your fundamental misunderstanding of how reality works. You have been taught to look at the world around you as a solid and fixed place that you must fight against to survive. You believe that to change your life you must move furniture, or change jobs, or convince people to help you. You believe the cause of your problems is outside of you, in the economy or the government or your upbringing. But I tell you tonight that this is the great illusion that keeps man in a state of slumber. The world you see with your eyes is not the cause of anything, for it is only an effect. It is nothing more than a mirror reflecting what is happening within the unseen depths of your own consciousness. When you look into a mirror and see a smudge on your face, you do not try to wash the mirror because you know that would be futile. You wash your face and the mirror reflects the change. Yet in the game of life, most people are furiously scrubbing the mirror, trying to change their circumstances by force, while leaving their inner state of consciousness completely unchanged. This is why you struggle. This is why you work hard but see little progress. You are fighting shadows and trying to alter reflections without changing the object casting the shadow. There is only one creative power in the universe, and it is not found in the chaotic noise of the external world, but in the silence of your own being. The ancient teachers and mystics called this power by many names, but for our practical purpose we will call it your imagination and your capacity to feel. Imagined. We stand today on the precipice of a great truth that has been whispered by mystics and sages throughout the ages, but is now being revealed to you in its most practical and potent form. Are you ready to embark on this transformative journey? Are you prepared to witness the miraculous unfoldment of your desires? Then let us begin. First and foremost, we must understand that the world we perceive with our physical senses is but a shadow and a reflection of a greater reality that exists within us. This inner world, this realm of imagination, is the true source of all that we experience in our outer world. It is the workshop wherein we craft our destinies and the sacred space where we commune with the divine. I know that right now your senses are screaming at you that what I say is impossible, because you want to see proof first. You want to touch the money with your hands before you feel wealthy. You want the doctor to give you a clean bill of health before you feel relief. You want the specific person to say they love you before you feel loved. You have been conditioned to believe that the physical world is the reality and your thoughts are just wisps of smoke. But I tell you that the exact opposite is the truth. The physical world is the smoke, and your inner feeling is the fire that creates it. The secret to bending reality to your will lies in your ability to assume and to believe, and most importantly, to feel that what you desire is already yours right now without a single shred of physical evidence to support it. This is the most difficult thing for the human mind to grasp, because we are addicted to our senses. We are addicted to the news and the facts and the statistics. We let the outer world dictate our inner mood. If the mail brings a bill, we feel anxious. If a friend insults us, we feel small. We are constantly reacting to what is happening to us, and by reacting, we are enslaved by it. To become the master of your destiny, you must stop being a thermometer that simply records the temperature of the room, and you must become the thermostat that sets the temperature. You must learn to go within and generate a feeling of success and wealth and health entirely on your own, regardless of what the world looks like. You might ask me, how can I feel wealthy when I have nothing? Or how can I feel loved when I am alone? You do this by realizing that your imagination is not a place of fantasy, but the very workshop of God. Everything you see around you, from the clothes on your body to the device you are using to listen to me, was once only an invisible idea in the mind of a person. They saw it when it was not there. They felt the reality of it before it existed. They walked in the assumption of its existence until the unseen became seen. You are the architect of your own life, but you have been building unconsciously. You have been building walls of limitation with your doubts and fears. Every time you say to yourself that it is too hard or that you are not good enough, you are writing a script that the world must act out for you. The universe has no choice but to give you what you are conscious of being. It does not care if what you are conscious of is good for you or bad for you. It is an impersonal law like electricity. Electricity can light your house or it can burn it down, depending on how you use it. Your awareness is the same. If you are conscious of being a victim, the world will provide you with oppressors to prove you right. If you are conscious of being abundant, the world will rearrange itself to bring opportunities to your door. This is why you must take your attention away from your problems. By staring at your problems and talking about them and analyzing them, you are feeding them the only life they have, which is your attention. Stop validating the things you do not want. Withdraw your attention from the evidence of your senses and place it entirely on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let us go deeper into what I mean by feeling, because this is where many go astray. When I say you must feel your desire is real, I do not mean you need to force a high emotion or walk around in a state of manic excitement. The feeling that creates reality is a quiet feeling. It is the feeling of naturalness and the feeling of relief. Think about something you already possess, like the shoes on your feet. You do not walk around shouting with excitement that you have shoes. You simply accept it. It is a fact. It feels natural. It feels normal. That is the state you must achieve for your desires. You must normalize the extraordinary. You must assume the feeling of your success until it feels as natural to you as your own name. The moment you accept a desire as a finished fact in your mind, a bridge of incidents begins to form. You do not need to know how it will happen. You do not need to know when it will happen. In fact, worrying about the how and the when is proof that you do not really believe it is done. If you knew you had $1 million in a safe deposit box, you would not worry about the rent, even if you did not have the cash in your pocket at this very moment. You would have an inner knowing, a quiet confidence that the means are there. That inner knowing is the state of the wish fulfilled. It is a spiritual sensation that transcends the physical senses. Most people live their entire lives waiting for permission to be happy or permission to be successful. They wait for a degree or a promotion or a lottery win, but you do not need permission from the world. You only need the permission of your own conviction. The world is a slave to your inner assumption. If you assume you are a failure, the world will agree. If you assume you are a king, the world will bow. But you cannot fake this with empty words. You cannot just repeat affirmations while your heart is filled with fear. The subconscious mind is not fooled by words. It responds only to the feeling and the conviction behind the words. You must persuade yourself that things are as you desire them to be. This practice requires a form of mental discipline that few are willing to cultivate, but the rewards are infinite. It requires you to be in the world but not of the world. It requires you to walk through a day of challenges while holding a secret within your heart that everything is already resolved. This is what it means to live by faith and not by sight. Faith is not a blind hope that things will get better. Faith is the loyalty to an unseen reality. It is the courage to persist in an assumption even when the mirror of the world has not yet changed. Consider the seed. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not see the tree immediately. For a time it seems as if nothing is happening. The surface of the soil remains unchanged. If you were a man of little faith, you would dig up the seed every day to see if it is growing, and by doing so you would kill it. But if you understand the laws of nature, you leave it alone. You trust that the seed has its own appointed hour to break through the soil. Your desire is the seed. Your feeling is the soil. Once you have planted that feeling of the wish fulfilled within the deep soil of your subconscious, you must leave it alone. You must not dig it up with doubts and anxiety. You must trust the incubation period. There is a time interval between the planting of the imaginal act and its appearance in the physical world. This interval is an illusion designed to test your stability. Do not be deceived by the delay. Do not let the passage of time cause you to waver. The vision has its own appointed hour. It ripens. It will flower. If it be long, then wait for it is sure and it will not be late. This is the promise. But you must keep the faith. You must continue to water the seed with the feeling of gratitude and acknowledgement. Live in the end. Do not visit the end as a tourist who looks at a destination and then returns home to their old problems. You must move into the state of your desire and dwell there. Make it your home. Make it your primary dwelling place. Everything begins within. There is no other cause. If you are honest with yourself, you will trace every circumstance in your life back to a mood or a feeling you entertained in the past. You attracted that argument because you were irritable. You attracted that financial loss because you were feeling insecure. You attracted that kindness because you were feeling loving. You are doing it all the time anyway, so why not do it consciously? Why not take the wheel of your own ship? The power is in your hands, or rather it is in your mind. Tonight we are going to walk through the specific method of how to use this power. We will not just talk about philosophy, we will give you the practical tool to impress your subconscious mind. But before we get to the technique, you must make a firm decision. You must decide that you are done with being a victim. You must decide that you are ready to take full responsibility for your reality. You must be willing to give up your old story of struggle and limitation. Are you ready to let the dead bury the dead? Are you ready to step into a new life where you are the operant power? If the answer is yes, then open your mind and prepare to learn the art of revision and the art of living in the end, for this is the path to true freedom. Now we must examine the machinery that drives this invisible cause, so you may operate it with wisdom rather than chance. We call this the law of assumption. The law is absolute, and it operates with the same indifference as the law of gravity. Gravity does not care if you are a saint or a sinner. If you jump from a building, you will fall. In the same way, the law of assumption does not care if your assumption is good for you or destructive to you. It simply fulfills whatever you claim to be true. The definition of this law is simple, yet it contains the power to shatter your current limitations. The law states that an assumption, though false if persisted in, will harden into fact. Let us unpack this because it contradicts everything you have been taught about reality. You have been taught that facts create beliefs. You see an empty bank account, so you believe you are poor. You see a diagnosis, so you believe you are sick. But the law of assumption states that the reverse is true. Your belief precedes the fact. The fact is merely the shadow cast by the assumption you hold within. Therefore, if you wish to change the fact, you must first change the assumption, regardless of what the evidence suggests. To understand why this works, you must understand the relationship between the two parts of your own mind, which are the conscious and the subconscious. Think of your conscious mind as the captain of a great ship, and your subconscious mind as the crew in the engine room. The captain chooses the destination and gives the orders. The crew in the engine room cannot see the ocean. They do not know if it is day or night. They do not know if the ship is heading toward a tropical paradise or an iceberg. They simply obey the orders sent down from the bridge. If the captain says full speed ahead, the crew obeys. If the captain says stop, the crew obeys. In your life, your conscious mind is the captain, and your feeling is the order you send to the engine room. Every time you say, I am tired, or I am unlucky, or I never have enough money, you are shouting orders to your crew. The subconscious mind accepts these orders as literal commands and immediately begins to steer the ship of your life into situations that match those statements. It does not argue with you. It does not say that is a bad idea, Captain. It simply produces the reality you have affirmed. Most people are terrible captains. They look at the iceberg ahead and scream in terror, and by focusing on the iceberg, they steer right into it. They allow the conditions of the ocean to dictate their orders instead of choosing the destination. To use the law of assumption is to take back command of your ship. It means you must dare to issue an order that contradicts the current situation. You must stand on the bridge of your ship and order full speed ahead to abundance, even when the fog is thick and you cannot see 2 feet in front of you. You assume the destination is reached before you arrive. This is the great secret. You do not move toward your desire, you move from your desire. This distinction is subtle, but it is the difference between success and failure. When you think of your goal, you are looking at it from a distance and you are affirming that it is separate from you. You create a state of longing, and longing only creates more longing. But when you think from your goal, you are looking at the world with the eyes of the person who has already achieved it. Let us illustrate this with a practical example. If your desire is to be a person of great influence and success, you do not wait for the promotion to feel successful. You begin to assume the feeling of that person now. How would you sleep at night if you were already that person? How would you walk down the street? How would you shake hands? How would you react to bad news? You would react with the confidence and the stability of one who has already arrived. You must put on this new state of consciousness just as an actor puts on a costume. An actor does not step onto the stage and pretend to be Hamlet while secretly believing he is just an actor. In that moment, he becomes Hamlet. He thinks as Hamlet and he feels as Hamlet, and for the duration of the play, the audience sees only Hamlet. You must be the actor in the play of your life. You must put on the costume of your wish fulfilled, and you must wear it so naturally that you forget it is a costume. The reason most people fail with this law is that they are double-minded. They assume the feeling of wealth for 10 minutes during a meditation, and then they spend the rest of the 16 waking hours feeling worried about bills. They dig up the seed they just planted. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot assume you are successful and then talk about your failures to your friends. Your conversations and your inner thoughts must align with your assumption. This requires a mental diet. Just as you would not eat poison if you wanted to be healthy, you should not dwell on toxic thoughts if you want to be free. You must become a guardian of the threshold of your mind. Do not let any thought enter your sanctuary that does not align with the new person you have chosen to be. If a thought of doubt knocks on the door, you must turn it away. You simply say, "That is no longer who I am," and you return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. There is a mystery here that the logical mind rejects. The logical mind demands to know the how. It asks, how will I get the money, or how will I meet the person? But the law of assumption tells us that the how is not our responsibility. The moment you effectively assume the state of the wish fulfilled, you initiate a series of events that you could never consciously devise. You influence people you have never met. You move circumstances in places you have never been. There is a vast network of connections in the universe that is beyond your comprehension. When you change your vibration by changing your assumption, you tug on the threads of this network and the world rearranges itself to match you. It may happen through a coincidence. It may happen through a chance meeting. It may happen through a sudden idea, but it will happen naturally. It will not feel like magic. It will feel like the most natural sequence of events. In fact, it will feel so natural that you might be tempted to say it would have happened anyway, but it would not have happened anyway. It happened because you moved into the state that demanded it. You must understand that you are not attracting what you want, you are attracting what you are. The core of this law is identity. You must stop identifying with your limitations. Stop saying, "I am sick," or "I am poor," or "I am lonely." These statements are blasphemy against the creative power. When you say, "I am," you are declaring your existence and defining your nature. You must claim your new identity boldly. You must dare to claim it before it is visible. This is what it means to be bold in spirit. The timid soul waits for proof. The bold soul creates proof. You must walk in the assumption that you are already the person you want to be, and you must remain in that assumption until the outer world catches up. The world is essentially a mirror of your own consciousness. It has no will of its own. It can only reflect what you are doing within yourself. If you are constantly waiting for the world to change, you are like a man standing in front of a mirror, waiting for his reflection to smile first. It will never happen. You must smile first. You must generate the feeling of joy and success first, and then the mirror has no choice but to reflect it back to you. This is a law of ironclad necessity. The outer world must conform to the inner arrangement of your mind. If you persist in the assumption the world has no power to resist you, it may resist for a moment due to the momentum of past momentum, but if you hold your ground, it must yield. Consider the power of a single assumption. If you assume that you are unwanted, you will interpret every glance and every word from others as rejection. You will create a reality where you are an outcast. But if you assume you are loved and admired, you will interpret those same glances and words as signs of affection. You will walk with a different posture. You will speak with a different tone. And people will respond to that energy. You create the atmosphere around you by the state you occupy. You are always assuming something. You are never not using this law. You are using it right now. You are either using it to maintain your current limitations or you are using it to create something new. The choice is yours. So I ask you, what are you assuming today? Are you assuming that life is hard? Are you assuming that you have to struggle? Or are you daring to assume that life is easy and that everything is working out for your good? It takes no more effort to assume the best than it does to assume the worst. It is simply a habit of mind. You have been trained to expect the worst. Now you must train yourself to expect the best. You must live in the constant expectation of good, not as a hope, but as a knowing. A knowing that comes from the deep conviction that you are the operative power in your world. This law is the key to freedom. It frees you from the tyranny of secondary causes. You no longer have to blame your parents or your boss or the economy. You realize that no one has power over you unless you give it to them by your own assumption. You are free to create the life you choose. But freedom comes with responsibility. You can no longer play the victim. You must accept that you are the author of your own play. If you do not like the script, rewrite it. Rewrite it in your imagination. Rewrite it in your feeling. And watch as the actors on the stage of your life begin to say the new lines you have written for them. This is the grandeur of the law of assumption. It places the scepter of power squarely in your hands. Do not be afraid to use it. Use it lovingly. Use it wisely. But above all, use it. Do not just listen to these words and nod your head. Apply this law. Test it. Challenge it. See if it will not prove itself to you in the most magnificent way. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and watch the world bend to your will. We now arrive at the greatest stumbling block that stands between you and your desire, which is the tyranny of your own five senses. You have been trained from the moment you were born to trust only what you can see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. You have been told that this physical world is the hard reality and that your imagination is merely a flight of fancy, a vapor that means nothing. But I am here to tell you that this teaching is the exact inverse of the truth. To become a conscious creator of your destiny, you must undergo a radical shift in your understanding of reality. You must come to the realization that your senses are not the report of the present, they are the report of the past. When you look at a star in the night sky, you are not seeing the star as it is now. You are seeing the light that left that star thousands or even millions of years ago. The star may have already died or exploded, but your eyes still tell you it is shining brightly. Your senses are deceiving you because they are showing you a history that is no longer true. In the exact same way, when you look at your current circumstances, you are looking at a dead star. You are looking at the delayed reflection of your past thoughts and your past assumptions. The bank account balance you see today is not a fresh reality. It is the fossilized result of the feelings of lack you entertained months or years ago. The relationship struggle you are facing now is merely the echo of the insecurities you allowed to fester in your mind yesterday. If you react to these circumstances as if they are the final truth, you become enslaved to the past. You become a victim of a dead reality. Most people live their entire lives walking backwards, keeping their eyes fixed on the past while they blindly back into the future. They see struggle, so they feel struggle, and by feeling struggle, they create more struggle. They are trapped in a feedback loop of their own making because they trust their senses more than they trust their inner vision. To break this cycle, you must learn the art of detachment. This does not mean you become irresponsible or that you ignore your duties in the world. It means that you deny the authority of the evidence before you. You look at the facts and you say to yourself, these facts are real in the world of shadows, but they are not the truth. Truth is eternal, but facts change. It was once a fact that it is impossible for man to fly. That fact changed when imagination birthed the airplane. It was once a fact that the earth was flat. That fact changed when vision expanded. Your current limitations are just facts. They are not the truth of who you are. The moment you withdraw your attention from them and place your attention on your ideal, they begin to dissolve. But as long as you stare at them and give them your emotional energy, you anchor them in place. Your senses are wonderful servants, but they are terrible masters. They are designed to help you navigate the physical world, not to create it. When you allow your senses to dictate your mood, you have abdicated your throne. You have given your power away to the creation rather than keeping it within the Creator. Imagine you are in a prison cell. Your senses tell you that the walls are cold stone and the bars are iron. If you accept this report as final, you will feel trapped and hopeless. But if you close your eyes and you vividly imagine you are walking on a beach, feeling the warmth of the sun and smelling the salt air, and if you persist in that feeling, your body may still be in the cell, but you are free. And here is the mystery. If you remain in that state of freedom, strange coincidences will happen. The guard may forget to lock the door, or a pardon may arrive from the governor. The outer world must mold itself to the inner reality, but you must first disregard the walls that your eyes see. This is the most difficult discipline you will ever undertake, because your senses are loud. They scream for your attention. Pain screams, hunger screams, lack screams. They demand that you acknowledge them. It takes a strength of character to stand in the midst of the storm and feel calm. It takes a spiritual boldness to look at an empty cupboard and feel the satisfaction of a feast. But this is the price of freedom. You must learn to walk by faith and not by sight. Walking by sight means you only believe what you see. Walking by faith means you believe in the invisible reality until it becomes seen. You must understand that there are two worlds. There is the world of the senses, which is the world of effects, and there is the world of imagination, which is the world of causes. Most men live only in the world of effects, constantly fighting fires and trying to patch up problems. The awakened man lives in the world of causes. He changes the blueprint in his mind and lets the world of effects adjust itself. Do not let the outer world define who you are. If you meet an old friend and they see you as you were 10 years ago, do not accept their definition. They are only seeing the old you. They are seeing the dead star. You know who you are within. You must hold to that inner self-conception with a grip of steel. When you look in the mirror, do not check to see if you look successful. Feel that you are successful and let the mirror catch up. The mirror has no choice. It is a mechanical reflector. It cannot smile at you until you smile at it. Yet you wait for the world to smile at you first. You wait for the money to come before you feel secure. You wait for the lover to appear before you feel lovable. You are waiting for the reflection to change the object. It is impossible. You must be the one to change. You must be the one to initiate the new expression. There is a beautiful term for this practice, which is ignoring the evidence of the senses. It sounds like madness to the rational mind. The rational mind says you are delusional. It says, look at the facts. But I tell you that the greatest men and women in history were all delusional in the eyes of their contemporaries. They saw empires where there were swamps. They saw freedom where there were chains. They held to a vision that their senses denied, and eventually their vision became the new reality for everyone else. You are called to be one of these visionaries for your own life. You are called to deny the lie that your senses are telling you. The lie is that you are small. The lie is that you are limited. The lie is that you are at the mercy of luck. The truth is that you are the operant power and the world is soft clay in your hands. When you practice this, you will find that the world tries to pull you back. It will throw obstacles in your way to test your resolve. This is not because the universe is against you, but because your old assumptions have momentum. Like a spinning wheel that has been turned off, it continues to spin for a while due to past energy. Do not be discouraged by the momentum of the past. When you see the old problems resurface, do not react. Simply recognize them as the spinning of the old wheel. Do not give it fresh energy. Let it run down. Keep your eyes fixed on the new wheel you are turning within. Keep your feelings centered on the new state. This requires a mental diet. You must refuse to consume the negativity that your senses offer you. If the news tells you there is a recession, you must deny it for yourself. You say that may be true for the world, but in my world there is only abundance. You create your own economy. You create your own health. You create your own love life. You do this by shutting the door of your senses and opening the eye of your imagination. Many of you are afraid to do this because you fear disappointment. You think that if you ignore the facts, you will be hurt when the facts do not change. But I tell you, the only reason the facts would not change is if you secretly kept checking them. If you plant a seed and then dig it up to see if it is growing, you kill the seed. Your checking is the doubt. Your looking for signs is the proof that you do not have it. When you truly accept that your imagination is the reality, you no longer look for signs. You have the inner satisfaction that it is done. And when you have that inner satisfaction, the senses lose power over you. They become mere background noise, while the symphony of your fulfilled desire plays in your heart. So tonight, I challenge you to test this. Take one problem in your life that seems insurmountable. Take one fact that your senses tell you is permanent, and dare to deny it. Not by fighting it, but by withdrawing your attention from it. Turn your back on the problem and face the solution. Feel the relief of the solution. Sleep in the state of the solution. Do not worry if your eyes do not see a change tomorrow morning. The change has already happened in the causal world, and it is only a matter of time before it hardens into rock in the physical world. Do not be a slave to your eyes and ears. Be a master of your mood. Be a master of your inner speech. The world is nothing more than a stage, and you are the writer, the director, and the lead actor. Do not let the scenery dictate the play. You change the scenery by changing the play. Your senses are only the audience. Do not let the audience direct the show. You direct the show. Stand firm in your assumption, and the illusion of the senses will crumble, revealing the masterpiece you have created within. Before we proceed to the true definition of feeling a secret that has been misunderstood by millions, I invite you to pause for a moment. If these words are resonating with your spirit, if you feel a truth awakening within you, please take a second to like this video. It is a small action, but it signals to the universe and to this platform that you are ready for this knowledge. And if you have not yet joined our community of seekers, press the subscribe button now. By doing so, you are committing to your own awakening. Now, let us discover the true meaning of feeling. Now we arrive at the very heart of this teaching, the secret which has been misunderstood by millions. And because of this misunderstanding, they fail to manifest their desires. When I tell you that feeling is the secret, you likely interpret this word feeling through the dictionary of your past experiences. You think I am telling you to generate a high state of emotional excitement or a burst of ecstatic joy. You think you must walk around pumping your fist in the air, shouting that you are rich or happy until you are exhausted. But I tell you that this kind of forced emotion is not the creative power I speak of. In fact, such manic energy often pushes your desire further away because it screams to the subconscious that you are trying to cover up a lack. You are trying too hard, and the stench of effort is the stench of doubt. The feeling that creates reality is not excitement, it is naturalness. It is the feeling of relief. It is the deep, settling sensation of satisfaction that comes when a desire has been fulfilled and the hunger has ceased. Think for a moment about the things you already possess and the truths that are already established in your life. Do you walk around all day feeling ecstatic that you have a pair of shoes on your feet? Do you cry tears of joy every time you turn the key in the ignition of your car? No. You simply accept these things. They are natural to you. They are ordinary. They are facts. You feel a quiet assurance that when you step down, the floor will hold you. That assurance is the feeling I am asking you to capture. To become the person you want to be, you must make the extraordinary feel ordinary. You must make the impossible feel natural. If you want $1 million, you must not feel like a person winning the lottery who is shocked and overwhelmed. You must feel like a person who has had millions for years and who simply manages their affairs with a calm confidence. The subconscious mind accepts as true only that which you feel to be natural. It rejects the hysterical and the fake. This is where the concept of relief becomes your most powerful tool. When a great problem is solved or when a long-awaited goal is finally achieved, the dominant emotion is not screaming. It is a long, deep exhale. It is the feeling of, it is done. It is the feeling of a weight being lifted off your shoulders. This feeling of relief is the signature of the wish fulfilled. If you can summon this feeling of relief right now regarding your desire, you have successfully impressed the subconscious. You do not need to visualize every detail of the house you want. You only need to feel the relief of sleeping in it. You do not need to imagine every dollar in the bank. You only need to feel the relief that the bills are paid and you are secure. Relief is the sensation of the Sabbath, the state of rest where you know the work is finished. Let us distinguish clearly between daydreaming and the creative feeling of reality. When you daydream, you think of your goal. You see yourself as a character in a movie, and you watch that character enjoying success. You are a spectator looking at a picture. This is futile. It changes nothing. To create, you must not think of the goal, you must think from the goal. You must step into the picture and become the actor. You must look out at the world from the eyes of the person who has already achieved the desire. If you want a new car, do not just see the car in your mind's eye. Instead, imagine your hands are on the steering wheel. Feel the texture of the leather. Smell the new car scent. Look through the windshield at the road ahead. Do not see yourself driving, be the one driving. This tactile engagement, this sensory vividness is what makes the scene real to the subconscious. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between a physical experience and an imagined experience if the imagined experience is charged with sensory detail and the feeling of now. You must catch the mood. Every situation has a specific mood associated with it. The mood of a wedding is different from the mood of a business meeting. The mood of success is different from the mood of failure. You must ask yourself, what would the feeling be like if my wish were true? If I were healthy right now, what would be the mood? It would not be a mood of begging or hoping. It would be a mood of vitality and ease. You would not be thinking about your body constantly, because healthy people do not obsess over their health, they simply live. So the feeling you are after is the feeling of living your life without the problem. It is the absence of the struggle. It is the quiet joy of normalcy. You must wear this mood as you would wear a suit of clothes. At first, the new suit may feel strange or stiff. You may feel like an imposter. But as you continue to wear it day after day, it begins to conform to your body. It becomes comfortable. It becomes you. Eventually, you forget you are wearing a costume at all, because the costume has become your skin. This practice requires you to stop wanting and start having. Wanting is a state of separation. As long as you want something, you are affirming that you do not have it. And the law says that to him who has more will be given, and from him who has not, even what he has will be taken away. This sounds harsh, but it is a psychological law. If you reside in the state of wanting, your subconscious will continue to produce the experience of wanting. You must shift your consciousness from wanting to having. You do this by appropriating the feeling of ownership. You walk through your day with the secret knowledge that it is already yours. When you look at an item in a store that you cannot currently afford, do not say, "I cannot afford it." Say to yourself, "I have unlimited abundance, and in my imagination I have already purchased this." Feel the thrill of ownership. Do not look at the price tag. Look at the object and claim it mentally. This shift in feeling changes your vibration and draws the object to you. There is a subtle trap here that I must warn you about, and that is the trap of looking for the feeling outside of yourself. You believe that you need the external event to trigger the internal feeling. You think you need the person to call you so you can feel loved. But you are the operant power. You must generate the feeling first. You are the generator, not the battery. You do not store energy, you create it. You can close your eyes right now and summon the feeling of being loved. You can remember a time you were loved, or you can imagine an ideal scenario. The moment you feel that warmth in your chest, you have made it real. The chemical signature in your body changes. Your energy field changes, and the world, which is just a mirror, has no choice but to reflect that love back to you. You are not waiting for the world. The world is waiting for you. To cultivate this feeling of naturalness, you must practice it in the silence of your own mind before you sleep. This is the rehearsal. If you were a musician, you would not walk onto the stage of a concert hall without practicing your piece. Yet you walk out into the day expecting to master life without having practiced your state of mind. The night is your rehearsal time. In the quiet of the night, you tune your instrument. You attain the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You play the notes of success and health and love in your imagination until they sound perfect. You do this over and over until the feeling is so familiar that when you wake up, it lingers like a fragrance. When you have practiced the feeling of naturalness enough, it will begin to spill over into your waking hours. You will find yourself smiling for no reason. You will feel a sudden wave of gratitude. These are the signs that the impregnation has taken place. The seed has been fertilized. Do not mistake intensity for truth. A shout is not more true than a whisper. In fact, the whisper is often more powerful. The deepest truths are spoken in silence. The feeling that creates is a silent knowing. It is an unshakable conviction that requires no external validation. If you truly felt you were the person you want to be, you would not need to ask anyone if you were doing it right. You would not need to check the internet for success stories. You would know, just as you know your own name, just as you know you are human. It is that level of deep, unquestioned acceptance that you are aiming for. It is a surrender. You surrender to the wish fulfilled. You stop fighting. You stop trying to make it happen, and you allow it to be. Many people ask, how long must I persist in this feeling? You persist until the feeling becomes your default dwelling place. You persist until the hunger disappears. When you have eaten a full meal, you no longer crave food. When you have truly appropriated the state of your desire, you no longer crave the desire because you have it. You possess it in the only reality that matters, which is the reality of consciousness. When you reach this state of inner saturation, the manifestation in the physical world is inevitable. It may come tomorrow or it may come next week, but it is as certain as the rising sun. The time interval is only determined by the naturalness of the feeling. If it feels natural now, it will manifest quickly. If it feels unnatural, it will take longer as you work to make it natural. So your only work is to reduce the time interval by increasing the naturalness. Make it real. Make it ordinary. Make it yours. So I invite you to redefine what feeling means to you. Stop trying to force emotions. Stop trying to lie to yourself with empty affirmations. Go deeper. Go into the silence and find the relief of the end. Feel the texture of the reality you are creating. Touch it with your inner hands. Taste it with your inner tongue. Live in it. Occupy it. And when you open your eyes, do not let the outer world steal that feeling from you. Carry it like a precious jewel in your pocket. Touch it mentally throughout the day to remind yourself of who you really are. You are not the person struggling in the physical world. You are the king or the queen living in the palace of your imagination, and soon, very soon, the walls of that palace will solidify around you, and you will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We now come to the most challenging aspect of this philosophy for the rational mind, which is the complete surrender of the means of fulfillment. The human intellect is obsessed with the question of how. You say you want financial independence, and immediately your mind asks, how will I get it? You say you want to be healed, and your mind asks what medicine will do it. You say you want love, and your mind asks, where will I meet this person? This obsession with the how is the very thing that prevents your desire from manifesting. When you focus on the how, you are operating from the limited perspective of your past experiences and your logical understanding of the world. You are looking at the infinite possibilities of the universe through a keyhole. And if you cannot see the solution through that tiny keyhole, you assume there is no solution. But I tell you that the how is not your responsibility. The how belongs to a wisdom that is far greater than your conscious intellect. It belongs to the dimension of the greater self within you, which has ways and means that you know not of. To understand this, you must realize that your conscious mind is designed to select the destination, not to steer the ship across the ocean. When you book a flight to a foreign country, you do not walk into the cockpit and demand to know the flight path or the fuel consumption or the air pressure. You simply buy the ticket and you trust the pilot to get you there. You sit back in your seat with the full assurance that you will arrive. Yet, in the most important journey of your life, which is the journey from your current state to your desired state, you insist on flying the plane yourself. You worry about the route. You panic when there is turbulence. You doubt the pilot. This interference is what causes you to crash. You must learn to select your destination with clarity and then take your hands off the wheel. You must accept that once the destination is fixed in your consciousness, the bridge of incidents that leads you there is already being built by unseen hands. This brings us to the concept of the bridge of incidents. Neville Goddard taught that between your assumption of the wish fulfilled and its physical realization, there is a series of events that will unfold naturally. These events may seem logical, or they may seem like strange coincidences, but they are the necessary steps to bring you to your goal. The mistake you make is trying to dictate what these steps should be. You decide that if you are to be wealthy, it must come through a lottery win, or a promotion at your current job. By doing this, you have closed the door on the millions of other channels that the universe could use to bless you. You have limited the infinite to a single path. And if that path is blocked, you fall into despair. You must stop outlining the path. You must stop telling the universe how to do its job. The universe is a master playwright. It knows how to weave the threads of human lives together to produce the perfect scene. It can move a stranger from across the world to meet you at the exact right moment. It can cause a delay in traffic that saves your life or puts you in the path of an opportunity. You cannot foresee these things with your logical mind. There is a profound paradox here that you must grasp. To get what you want, you must stop trying to figure out how to get it. This sounds like negligence to the worldly mind, which believes in hard work and struggle, but it is the highest form of spiritual discipline. It is the discipline of trust. When you have fully accepted the end, the means are taken care of. Think of the end as a magnet. A powerful magnet does not worry about how it will attract the steel filings. It simply radiates its nature, and the filings are drawn to it by an invisible law. When you dwell in the end state of your desire, you become that magnet. You begin to pull people and resources and events toward you. You do not need to chase them. In fact, chasing them often repels them because chasing implies that they are running away from you. You must stand firm in your assumption and let the world come to you. This surrender of the how requires you to make peace with uncertainty. You may not see the path today. You may not see it tomorrow. You may even encounter obstacles that seem to be taking you in the opposite direction of your goal. This is where your faith is tested. Sometimes the bridge of incidents requires you to go through a valley before you reach the mountaintop. You might lose your job. You might suffer a breakup. The logical mind screams that this is a disaster and that your manifestation has failed. But from the higher perspective, this removal of the old is absolutely necessary to make space for the new. The job loss may be the push you needed to start the business that brings you the wealth you imagined. The breakup may be the clearing of the path for the partner who is actually your perfect match. You must not judge the events of the day by their appearance. You must trust that every event is a stone in the bridge that you are crossing. If you insist on knowing the how, you are essentially saying that you do not trust the power within you. You are acting like a micromanager who does not trust his employees. And just as a micromanager stifles creativity and growth, your interference stifles the flow of creation. You create resistance. You create stress. And stress is the enemy of manifestation because stress is a state of contraction. You cannot receive when you are contracted. You can only receive when you are open and relaxed. The state of knowing that the how is handled allows you to relax. It brings you into the state of the Sabbath where you rest from your mental labors. You say to yourself, it is done, and because it is done, the way will be made clear. This relief is the signal to the subconscious to proceed at full speed. Consider the lilies of the field, as the ancient scripture says. They do not toil, nor do they spin, yet they are clothed in beauty. A seed does not worry about how it will become a tree. It does not worry about where the rain will come from or how the sun will shine. It simply contains the pattern of the tree within itself, and it trusts the laws of nature to provide the nourishment it needs to unfold that pattern. You are no different. Your desire is the seed. It contains the complete pattern of its fulfillment. The how is the rain and the sun and the soil. These things are provided by the universe. Your only job is to remain the seed. Your only job is to hold the pattern of the wish fulfilled and not let it be corrupted by doubt. If you can do this, you will be amazed at how effortlessly your life unfolds. Doors will open where there were only walls. Helping hands will appear out of nowhere. You will find yourself saying, I could never have planned this, it is better than I imagined. When you try to force the how, you are using force, and force negates. Creation is not a forcible act, it is a yielding. You yield to the reality of your desire. You submit to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Most people are fighting against life, trying to force their will upon the world. They are exhausted and bitter. The conscious creator does not fight. He assumes. He appropriates. He accepts. And then he watches as the world rearranges itself to match his inner assumption. It is a dance, not a battle. You lead the dance with your feeling, and the world follows your steps. But if you try to drag the world, it will resist. If you try to push the river, it will not flow faster. You must float with the current of your own assumption. This does not mean you will sit on your couch and do nothing. This is a common misunderstanding. You will take action, but it will be inspired action. It will not be forced labor. When you are living in the end, you will feel a natural impulse to do certain things. You might feel a sudden urge to call someone, or to go to a specific place, or to read a certain book. These impulses are the voice of the subconscious guiding you across the bridge of incidents. You follow them not with anxiety but with excitement. You move because you want to move, not because you feel you must struggle to make it happen. The action happens through you rather than by you. There is a flow and a grace to it. You are compelled to act, but the compulsion comes from love and inspiration, not from fear and lack. So tonight I ask you to release the burden of the how. It is too heavy for you to carry, and it is not yours to carry. Lay it down, give it to the greater self within you. Your only responsibility is the what. Define what you want. Define it clearly. Feel the reality of it. And then let the how take care of itself. If doubts arise and your mind asks, but how will I pay the rent, or how will I get the cure? Simply answer with the feeling of the end. Go to the end. Dwell in the end. In the end, the rent is already paid. In the end, the body is already healed. If you stay in the end, the means will be birthed from that end. The end dictates the means. The destination determines the route. Do not be like the man who plants a seed and then stands over it screaming at it to grow. Do not be the man who digs up the seed to see if it has roots. Be the wise gardener who plants the seed, waters it with faith, and then goes about his business knowing that the harvest is inevitable. The universe has been orchestrating the movement of galaxies for billions of years. Do you not think it can orchestrate the events of your life to bring you a job or a relationship? Do not insult the infinite intelligence with your petty doubts. Trust the power that gave you the desire to also give you the fulfillment. The desire and the fulfillment are one. They are two ends of the same stick. If you have the desire, the fulfillment already exists. You just need to walk across the bridge to get to it. And you walk that bridge by keeping your eyes on the destination, not on the cracks in the pavement. Your life is a grand adventure, and the excitement lies in not knowing exactly how the plot will twist and turn. If you knew every step, it would be boring. Embrace the mystery. Embrace the unknown, knowing that the unknown is working in your favor. When you live this way, you become invincible. No obstacle can stop you because you know that every obstacle is just a detour on the bridge. No delay can discourage you because you know the timing is perfect. You walk with the swagger of a person who knows the end of the movie. You know the hero wins. You are the hero. And your victory is already written in the stars of your own imagination. So let go of the how. Embrace the now. And let the invisible cause bend reality to your will in ways that will leave you breathless with wonder. We have spoken of the philosophy and we have spoken of the law, but now we must move from theory to practice, because philosophy without application is merely intellectual vanity. You can know everything about the nature of reality, but if you cannot apply it to change your life, you are like a man who dies of thirst while holding a cup of water. Tonight I will give you the specific technique that acts as the key to the door of the subconscious mind. Neville Goddard called this the state akin to sleep. It is a specific psychological state where the body is completely immobilized and relaxed, but the mind remains alert and under control. This is the gateway to power. This is the moment where the conscious mind, which is often filled with doubts and fears, lays down its weapons and the subconscious mind opens itself to receive your command. If you master this one technique, you become the master of your fate. You must understand why this state is so important. During your waking day, your conscious mind is like a guardian standing at the gate of a fortress. It analyzes every piece of information that tries to enter. If you tell yourself, "I am wealthy," while you are fully awake and looking at your bills, your conscious mind immediately rejects that statement. It says that is a lie, and it blocks the idea from reaching the subconscious. But as you approach sleep, the guardian becomes tired. The conscious mind begins to fade. The analytical barriers are lowered. In that twilight zone between waking and sleeping, the door to the fortress is left wide open. Whatever you carry into that state, whatever feeling or assumption you hold as you cross that threshold, is impressed directly onto the subconscious without argument. And what the subconscious receives, it must objectify in the world. So how do you enter this state, and how do you use it? You should start this practice tonight when you go to bed. The first step is physical immobilization. You must lie flat on your back with your head on a level with your body. Close your eyes and induce a state of deep relaxation. You can do this by imagining a wave of warmth moving from your toes up to your head, or by simply feeling your body becoming heavy. You want to reach a point where you feel so comfortable and so heavy that you do not want to move. If you were to try to move a finger, it would require a great effort. This is essential because as long as you are aware of your physical body, you are tied to the physical world. You want to detach from the body so that you are just a point of awareness floating in space. This physical stillness allows the mind to detach from the senses. Once you have reached this state of drowsiness where you are floating on the border of sleep, you must now perform the act of creation. Before you entered this state, you should have already decided clearly what you want. Do not wait until you are drowsy to decide, or your mind will wander. You must have a specific scene prepared. This scene must imply that your desire is already fulfilled. Note that I said it must imply fulfillment. You do not visualize the process. You visualize the result. If you want a promotion, visualize a colleague shaking your hand and saying, "Congratulations on the new job." If you want to be married, visualize a wedding ring on your finger and feel the metal. If you want a new home, visualize the key turning in the lock. The scene should be short. It should be 5 or 10 seconds long. Do not construct a long movie with a complex plot because your attention will drift. Keep it simple. Keep it focused. Now here is the secret to the technique. You must loop this scene. You play this short scene over and over again in your imagination. You visualize the colleague shaking your hand. Then you bring your mind back to the start and do it again. Shake the hand, shake the hand, shake the hand. You do this until the scene feels solid. You do this until it takes on the tones of reality. The first time you do it, it may feel like a picture. The 10th time, it may feel like a memory. By the 50th time, you will feel like you are actually there. This repetition prevents the mind from wandering. It crowds out all other thoughts. It focuses your entire being on this single action. You are mesmerizing yourself into a new reality. You must involve your sensory imagination. It is not enough to see it. You must feel it. In the handshake, feel the firmness of the grip. Is the hand warm or cool? Hear the voice clearly. Listen to the tone of sincerity. In the scene with the ring, feel the cold metal against your skin. In the scene with the house, feel the weight of the key. You must restrict the action to this single sensory event. Do not let your mind jump to what you will do next. Stay in the moment of the handshake. Stay in the moment of the congratulations. You are bringing the future into the present. You are making it here and now. The subconscious does not understand the future. It only understands now. By making the scene sensory and immediate, you are telling the subconscious that this is happening right now. As you loop this scene, you will begin to feel a shift. You will feel a sense of naturalness washing over you. The anxiety of the desire will fade and it will be replaced by the satisfaction of possession. This is the moment of impregnation. This is the moment the seed is planted. Your goal is to continue this action until you slip away into sleep. You want to fall asleep while you are performing the action. You want your last waking thought to be the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is crucial because whatever concept you hold in consciousness as you fall asleep dominates your subconscious for the next 8 hours. If you fall asleep worrying, you are instructing your subconscious to create more worry. But if you fall asleep in the assumption of success, your subconscious will work all night to bring that success to pass. Many people fail because they try too hard. They grit their teeth and try to force the visualization. This is wrong. The state akin to sleep is a state of minimum effort. It is a state of relaxation. If you are tense, you are not doing it right. You must be passive. You are not forcing the scene. You are allowing the scene to possess you. You are yielding to it. Think of it as surrendering to a beautiful dream. You are letting go of the physical world and stepping into the reality of your imagination. If your mind wanders, do not be angry. Gently bring it back to the scene. Bring it back to the handshake. Bring it back to the key. Be patient with yourself. It is a discipline, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with practice. Some of you may find that you cannot visualize images clearly. Do not worry. Feeling is the secret, not the picture. If you cannot see the face of the colleague, simply feel the handshake and hear the voice. Or simply repeat a phrase that implies fulfillment. A phrase like, "Isn't it wonderful?" or "Thank you," or "It is finished." Repeat this phrase over and over like a lullaby. Lull yourself to sleep with the feeling of gratitude. The feeling is what matters. The picture is just a tool to help you generate the feeling. If you can get the feeling of relief and satisfaction without the picture, you have succeeded. The subconscious responds to the emotional quality of your thought. There is a concept I want you to understand called the impotence of the conscious mind. In this drowsy state, your conscious mind becomes impotent, meaning it loses its power to argue and to judge. This is exactly what you want. You want the critical part of you to be silent so that the creative part of you can work. You are bypassing the ego. You are bypassing the limited self. You are connecting directly with the infinite self. In this state, you are God. You are the creator. You are writing the script of your life, and the world must act it out. There is no power in the universe that can stop a seed that has been properly planted in the subconscious mind during this state. When you wake up in the morning, you may not see immediate change. Do not be concerned. The work is done. You have planted the seed. Now you must walk in the faith that the harvest is coming. You may feel a shift in your mood during the day. You may feel lighter. You may feel a quiet confidence. These are the signs that the technique has worked. You do not need to do the technique 20 times a day. You do it at night when the mind is naturally receptive. The night is the workshop of the soul. While your body rests, your inner self is busy arranging the events of tomorrow. Give it a glorious blueprint to work with. Do not underestimate the power of this simple practice. It has healed the sick. It has created fortunes. It has restored broken relationships. It is the secret used by the great mystics and the great achievers throughout history, whether they knew it consciously or not. They assumed the feeling of their wish fulfilled, and they slept in that conviction. You now have the knowledge of exactly how to do it. You have the instruction manual for your own mind. The only question remains, will you use it? Will you discipline your mind to focus on what you want, or will you let it drift back to what you do not want? The choice is yours every single night. Tonight, as you lay your head on the pillow, remember that you are entering a holy place. You are entering the chamber of creation. Leave your worries outside the door. Leave your past outside the door. Enter the sleep state as the person you wish to be. Clothe yourself in the feeling of your desire. Loop that scene until it feels like the only reality, and let yourself drift into the deep ocean of sleep with the satisfaction that it is done. When you do this, you are not just sleeping, you are bending reality to your will. You are commanding the morning to bring you a new world. This is the method, this is the way. Walk in it and be free. We have now reached the crucial point where the rubber meets the road. You have understood the law and you have practiced the method of entering the state akin to sleep. You have planted the seed of your desire in the deep soil of your subconscious mind. But now the sun rises and you wake up to a world that looks exactly the same as it did yesterday. The bills are still on the table. The diagnosis is still in the medical report. The person you love is still absent. This is the moment of truth. This is the test of faith. Most people fail here not because the law did not work, but because they aborted the pregnancy of their desire through their own lack of persistence. They look at the external world and they say nothing happened, and by saying nothing happened, they issue a new command to the subconscious to stop the process. You must understand that manifestation is not magic in the sense of a puff of smoke. It is a natural process of growth, and every natural process has its own appointed hour. Persistence is not a physical effort. It is not about gritting your teeth and forcing the world to change with your will. Persistence is a spiritual discipline. It is the act of remaining loyal to your unseen reality even when the senses deny it. Think of it as a marriage. When you marry a state of consciousness, you promise to remain faithful to it, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health. But what do most of you do? You marry the state of wealth at night in your imagination, but the moment you see a bill in the morning, you divorce the state of wealth and commit adultery with the state of poverty. You cheat on your ideal with your old limitations. You cannot be double-minded. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, and let not that man think he shall receive anything from the universe. You must remain faithful to your new husband, which is your new concept of self, until it hardens into fact. The interval of time between your imaginal act and its physical realization is an illusion. It is a necessary delay to allow the bridge of incidents to unfold. During this interval, you may see things get worse before they get better. Do not be afraid of this. Sometimes the old structure must be torn down before the new palace can be built. If you lose your job after imagining wealth, do not panic and say it failed. Say to yourself, this is part of the bridge. This is moving me toward my own business or a better position. You must interpret every event as a step toward your goal. If you judge by appearances, you will be terrified and you will retreat to your old safety zone. But if you judge by your inner conviction, you will walk through the fire and not be burned. You will walk through the waters and not be drowned. Faith is not hope. Hope is waiting for something that might happen. Faith is the knowledge that it has already happened. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Note that it is the evidence. Your inner feeling is the evidence. You do not need physical evidence because you have the spiritual evidence. If a woman is pregnant, she does not need to see the child to know she is a mother. She feels the life within her. She prepares for the child. She buys clothes for the child. She acts as a mother long before the child is visible to the world. Your desire is the child. You have conceived it in your imagination. Now you must carry it. You must nurture it with your faith. You do not poke at your stomach every 5 minutes wondering if the baby is there. You know it is there. You must have that same confidence with your desire. The greatest enemy of persistence is your own inner conversation. What are you saying to yourself as you walk down the street? What are you saying to yourself when you are driving your car? If you are arguing with people in your mind, if you are justifying your failures, if you are complaining about the government, you are leaking energy. You are reinforcing the old reality. You must monitor your inner speech. Your inner conversations must match your end. If you are the man you want to be, what would you be saying to yourself? You would be saying, "Isn't it wonderful?" You would be saying, "I am so influential, I am so secure." You must carry the mood of the wish fulfilled through the noise of the day. It is easy to be a master when you are meditating in a quiet room. The true master is the one who can hold the feeling of abundance while walking through a crowd of angry people. Do not dig up the seed. I repeat, do not dig up the seed. Every time you look for signs, you are digging up the seed. Every time you ask someone if they think it will work, you are digging up the seed. Every time you worry about the how, you are exposing the roots to the harsh sunlight of doubt and killing the growth. Leave it alone. Trust the dark soil of the subconscious. It knows how to build the body of your desire. It has ways that you cannot comprehend. Your interference only causes delay. The timeline is determined by the naturalness of your feeling. If you keep interrupting the state with doubt, you reset the clock. You push the manifestation into the future. You must live in the end. Living in the end means you do not look toward the wish, you look from the wish. There will be days when you feel heavy. There will be days when the illusion of the world feels like a concrete wall. On those days you must withdraw into your silence. Go into the bathroom if you have to. Close your eyes for 2 minutes. Deny the evidence of your senses. Reenact the scene of the handshake or the ring or the key. Re-establish the feeling. Touch the reality of your imagination again. Remind yourself who you are. Say to yourself, "I am the operant power. This world is dead and I am the life." Then open your eyes and step back into the world with renewed strength. This is how you persist. You do not fight the darkness with a sword. You turn on the light. You do not fight the facts with logic. You transcend them with imagination. Remember that you are bending reality. Reality is not fixed. It is fluid. It is only hard because you have frozen it with your sustained belief. If you withdraw your belief from the problem and place it on the solution, the problem must dissolve. It has no life of its own. It only lives because you feed it with your attention. Starve the problem, feed the solution, persist in this mental diet. It is a diet more rigorous than any food diet because it requires constant vigilance. But the reward is not just a healthy body, it is a life of limitless freedom. You are rewriting the script of your destiny. Do not let the old characters drag you back into the old scenes. You are the writer. Write a new scene. If you find yourself slipping, if you find yourself reacting to the news or to a rude person, forgive yourself instantly. Do not waste time in guilt. Guilt is just another negative emotion that binds you to the past. Simply say, "I fell asleep for a moment, but now I am awake." And return to the state. Return to the feeling. Persistence is not perfection. It is the ability to return to the path no matter how many times you stumble. It is the stubborn refusal to accept anything less than your desire. You must be brazen. You must be impudent. You must look the world in the eye and say, "I am that which I desire to be, and I will not take no for an answer." The world will eventually become exhausted by your persistence. It will yield. It has to yield. The outer world is only a reflection, and the reflection cannot hold a frown if the object persists in smiling. It may take a day. It may take a month. It does not matter. If you are living in the end, the time does not matter because you already have it in your imagination. You are already enjoying it. You are not waiting. Waiting implies lack. You are experiencing it now. And because you are experiencing it now, the physical world is under compulsion to manifest it. It is a law. It cannot fail. It has never failed. It only seems to fail when the operator gives up. So I ask you today, are you willing to walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil? Are you willing to ignore the mockers and the doubters, including the doubter in your own mind? Are you willing to stand on the rock of your assumption while the storms of life rage around you? If you can do this, if you can hold the mood, if you can remain loyal to the invisible reality, then the gates of heaven will open and pour out a blessing that you will not have room enough to receive. The invisible cause will become the visible fact, the dream will become the flesh, and you will know that you are God in human form. Do not look back. Lot's wife looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. Looking back means looking at your past failures. Looking back means asking why. Do not look back, look forward, or rather look inward. Keep your eyes on the prize. Run the race with endurance. The finish line is not in the future. The finish line is a state of consciousness. Crossing the finish line means entering the state of the wish fulfilled and staying there. If you stay there, you have already won. The trophy is just a matter of time. Let this be your mantra. It is done. No matter what the news says, it is done. No matter what the bank says, it is done. No matter what the doctor says, it is done. Hold to this. Cling to this. And you will see the salvation of your own consciousness. You will see that you are the master of the winds and the waves. You will speak to the storm and say, "Peace, be still," and there will be a great calm. This is the power of persistence. This is the test of faith. Pass this test and the kingdom is yours. We have traveled a long distance together in this hour. We have dissected the anatomy of reality, and we have exposed the illusion of the external world. We have handed you the keys to the kingdom, which are the law of assumption and the practical technique of sleeping in the wish fulfilled. But now we arrive at the most dangerous part of this lecture. I say dangerous because knowledge that is not used becomes a burden. It becomes a judgment against you. To know the law and not to use it is a tragedy far greater than ignorance. If you turn off this video and go back to your old way of thinking, you will have wasted your time. You will continue to walk in a circle of your own making, complaining about the same problems year after year, while the key to your prison cell sits rusting in your pocket. I am here to stop that wheel. I am here to interrupt your sleep. I am offering you a challenge, and I ask you to accept it not for my sake, but for the sake of the life you have always dreamed of living. Here is my challenge to you. Tonight, do not go to sleep. I repeat, do not go to sleep. Instead, go to the state of the wish fulfilled. There is a vast difference. To go to sleep is a passive act where you collapse into unconsciousness, carrying the dust and the dirt of the day with you. To go to the state of the wish fulfilled is an active spiritual act where you strip off the garment of the victim and you put on the garment of the victor before you close your eyes. Tonight is your appointment with destiny. Do not say you will start tomorrow. Tomorrow is a seducer. Tomorrow is the thief of dreams. There is no tomorrow, there is only now. If you cannot discipline your mind tonight, you will not do it tomorrow. You must draw a line in the sand right now. You must say to yourself that tonight I will prove this law, or I will disprove it, but I will not ignore it. I want you to treat this night as an experiment. You are the scientist, and your life is the laboratory. The variable you are going to change is your state of consciousness as you fall asleep. I want you to take that one desire that burns in your heart. You know the one you are afraid to hope for. The one you think is too big. Take that desire and condense it into a single scene or a single phrase that implies it is done. And tonight, when you lie down in your bed, I want you to commit yourself completely to that scene. Do not do it half-heartedly. Do not do it with one eye open, checking to see if it is working. Throw yourself into it with the abandon of a child. Suspend your judgment. Suspend your reason. For just one night, act as if you are God, because you are. You have nothing to lose. What have you got to lose? Your misery, your lack, your fear. These are the only things you risk losing. If I am wrong, you will simply wake up as you are. But if I am right, if this law is as true as the law of gravity, then you will wake up in a world that has begun to shift. You will wake up with a new spirit. You will set in motion a chain of events that will lead you to the fulfillment of your dream. Why would you not take that risk? Why would you cling to the familiar pain when the unknown joy is waiting for you? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You have been sleeping in the feeling of lack and waking up in lack for years. Break the cycle. Tonight, sleep in the feeling of abundance. Sleep in the feeling of love. Sleep in the feeling of health. And see what the morning brings. I know the voice that is whispering in your ear right now. It is the voice of your old self. It is saying, "This is silly. It is saying I am too tired. It is saying it won't work for me. Recognize that voice for what it is. It is the defense mechanism of your ego. The ego loves the status quo, even if the status quo is painful. It fears change because change means the death of the old self. Do not listen to it. Treat it like a spoiled child. Say to it, peace, be still. You are the master. You command the mind. Do not let the mind command you. You have the power to direct your attention. Use that power tonight. If you find your mind wandering 50 times, bring it back 50 times. Do not give up. The prize is worth the struggle. The prize is your life. This is not just about getting things. This is not just about cars and houses and money. This is about discovering who you really are. You are not a little body of flesh and bone buffeted by the winds of chance. You are the invisible cause. You are the dreamer of the dream. When you begin to apply this law, you will feel a dignity and a power that you have never felt before. You will walk with your head high, not because of arrogance, but because you know your true lineage. You are a creator, and a creator does not beg. A creator does not complain. A creator creates. Tonight, you begin your true work. Tonight, you take your place on the throne of your own consciousness. I want you to make a covenant with yourself, a solemn promise. Promise yourself that you will not let the sun go down on your anger or your fear. Promise yourself that you will never again fall asleep in a state that you do not wish to experience tomorrow. This is the secret of eternal youth and eternal renewal. Every night is a death and every morning is a resurrection. Do not resurrect the old man. Let him die. Bury him tonight and resurrect the new man, the man of your ideal. Clothe him in the feeling of success. Clothe him in the feeling of peace and wake up as him. If you do this night after night, you will transform not only your world, but you will transform yourself. You will become a person of such magnetic power that people will be drawn to you without knowing why. They will see the light in your eyes. They will feel the stability of your aura. You will become a living testimony to the truth of this law.